Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to That's Football for your latest transfer news. Get in the comments below with your thoughts, but we're going to start off with Richarlison in a three-way. Spurs, Chelsea and potentially Arsenal, who I'm going to discard straight away because I can't see Arsenal wanting Richarlison when they're going to buy Jesus, they're after Rafinha, they've brought in Vieira. I don't see Richarlison and 50 million quid to Arsenal, so I would discount that straight away. We'll probably get them signing for him tomorrow, but Chelsea and Spurs is interesting. We know that Spurs have always been interested in Richarlison. This broke about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And Chelsea, I don't think you can discount because I think Chelsea are a football club that nobody really knows what they're looking at the moment. And nobody really knows how they're going to go at the moment because I would say Chelsea, Koundé, Lewandowski, Declan Rice, Raheem Sterling, these sort of signings are the sort of signings that you would make with the anticipation that you can go and challenge, hopefully, a Liverpool or a Manchester City. Signings such as Richarlison don't necessarily make me think that that is a signing that's going to make you challenge with Liverpool and Man City. 25 years of age, Richarlison, 50 million quid, maybe 55 million quid. Big player for Everton. I think he sort of averages about 1 goal every 2.5 games for Everton, whereas for Brazil, I think he's actually got like 16 in 34 or something like that. So he's not a little bit better. So the reason I mention that is I think in a better team, he will score more goals. Obviously, Everton is a harder team to score goals in, and I think if you put him in a Spurs side or a Chelsea side, he probably could be a 1 goal in 2 striker if he hit the potential limits that I think a lot of people think he may have. He's an interesting player, Richarlison. I think he suits Spurs more than Chelsea. I think Chelsea could I don't like to say this, but I think Chelsea would be looking to do something more Lewandowski, Erling Haaland type. Having said that, this is a striker's summer. Everybody wants a striker. I think my club, United, probably won't buy a striker because there's not really the type of striker that they want out there, even though we're desperate for one. And maybe Chelsea are going to find themselves in that situation. In previous summers, maybe Man City and Liverpool don't need a striker, and Darwin Núñez or Erling Haaland, you could see them signing for Chelsea. But both Liverpool and Man City have bought them. Then after that, there's not a... Lewandowski looks like he's going to Barcelona. He's quite old, Lewandowski, as well. So there's not an amazing amount of striker quality out there, and maybe that's why Chelsea are getting drawn into Richarlison, because sometimes, especially with what's happening with Lukaku, you need a striker and the market's not there for one. So suddenly Richarlison becomes an attractive player for Chelsea. He's probably not the striker that they want. They want an A star, whereas maybe Richarlison's a B or B plus striker who might work out to be really good. So I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea are in for him. I think Spurs definitely are in for him. And look, all I can say from a United point of view is that when we were linked to him, I wasn't massively inspired by it. And then I looked at the player and I was like, actually, he does have a lot of things to his game that don't mean he's going to be a bad signing. He's quite frustrating. I think, he does dive a lot, but he puts himself about a lot. Offensive duels as a front player up on his own, he does get involved. His link-up play is not bad. He can score goals. So in a better team, maybe Conte's seen something and maybe Tuchel's seen something in him. And maybe he could have been a signing for United as well. But he's definitely going to make the move. I think he'll probably end up at Spurs, but Chelsea do have that pulling power if they want to go and do it. And it'll be a very different Chelsea with Richarlison in it. I just don't know what Chelsea fans would think about that, or whether they think there's a better alternative striker out there of which they need to go and get a striker. And I'll be interested to see how that goes. From Spurs' point of view, there's something about Spurs as well, just before I move on, where they do tend to miss out on players. Like it seems to happen all the time. They wanted Luis Diaz and he went to Liverpool. So this is a player that Spurs want. I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea did take him. But then again, you know what? Let's just say this before we move on as well. Spurs are a bigger pull now than they were when they were missing out on players. They're in the Champions League and they've got a world-class manager. Chelsea, all right, they're in the Champions League and they've got a world-class manager. Spurs have got the better stadium. Could Spurs finish above Chelsea? Well, you know what? The fact that I hesitated shows the progression of Spurs, because I'd normally say not a chance. And I think Conte, Champions League football, some of the signings they're looking to make, I think Spurs are a team to watch. I'm certainly watching Spurs next year as a United fan. I think they're in a stronger position than us at the moment. I think Conte is a better manager than Ten Hag until Ten Hag proves himself in the Premier League. And I think that Spurs are in a better position than us with better players than us. So we're coming from a position where we've got to not... We want to catch up with Liverpool and Man City, but to do that, we've got to catch up with Spurs and Chelsea first. So, look, interesting. Very interesting how that works out. Talking about Man City, I don't know whether you saw it yesterday. Pep Guardiola speaking about Bernardo Silva, saying that he wants to keep him, but they don't want to keep players that don't want to be here. This is a weird thing, and it's almost a topic in itself, isn't it? Why do players turn their back on Man City so regularly? And Man City fans are going to be going, oh no, I don't believe that. Well, they're not. You have to find some first. But on a serious note, Ferran Torres, I thought he looked like a good signing for Man City. Spent hardly any time there and wanted to leave. Bernardo Silva, this Barcelona pull. And I think that you expect it every now and again. Like Luis Suarez, Liverpool had this, wanted to go to Barcelona. Coutinho wanted to go to Barcelona. Manchester United had it with Ronaldo. He really wanted to go to Real Madrid. But Man City seem to be getting it with more frequency, and I don't know why. And I don't think anybody would ever write an article on about it or actually dig deep to find out why. But why does Bernardo Silva, who was one of Man City's best players last year, want to leave a club that's getting closer and closer to the Champions League? That's their journey. Why does he want to leave that journey before it's over to go to Barcelona and start another journey? And that's because obviously he prefers Barcelona to Man City, but Man City are better than Barcelona. Like, they are better. They've got a better manager. They're a better team. There's something about Man City's identity that I don't think some of their players really grasp. I think with people like De Bruyne, who's your best player, he does grasp it. But it does seem to be happening with some frequency that players are quite happy to sort of, when they look like they're in a good position, say, I want to go. And look, maybe Bernardo Silva's a Barcelona fan. It can happen. But Pep, I've got a lot of respect for Pep because I think he deals with it in the right way. You would not want to lose Bernardo Silva, and he said that. But if a player doesn't want to be here, they can go. And that's a strong statement to make because Raheem Sterling, I think, leaving City makes a lot of sense for City and for him. It's the right time for it to happen. Jesus leaving, it's the right time for it to happen. Bernardo Silva, I don't think it's the right time to happen. And it's another player that I think Pep doesn't want to lose that would go. So it'd be interesting to keep an eye on that because, yeah, you don't... Look, I remember... It does feel like a long time ago, but I remember when United were consistently successful and you used to get these rumours every now and again, Inter Milan want gigs or Paul Scholes to Barcelona or something like that, and I'm sure those clubs were interested, but the reality is those players loved Man United and were invested in the journey that Man United were on. And when you're a big club, you want your key players to be invested in that. And I just find it odd that a player like Bernardo Silva would want to leave Man City when next year might be the year they finally win the Champions League. Surely you do that before you go, it's my dream to go to Barcelona. But, different players have different mentalities. Some players decide to go and play in China when they're 23, which I'll never understand because it's just completely about the money, isn't it? But Liverpool seem to have locked that down. I think Liverpool had that problem. As I said, Luis Suarez, Coutinho, their better players would always leave. But for the last few years, they've not had that problem. I always felt that Mo Salah might be a player that got tempted by a Real Madrid or a Barcelona. He never did. I know Mane's just left, but he's 30, 31 and he's going to Bayern Munich. They've won the Champions League, they've won the league. So I think Liverpool have probably got more stability in their team. Pep has it with some players, but the rotation seems to be a little bit confusing at times. But it's out of his hands, isn't it? And I think Pep's always struggled with City. I think he mentions it a lot about the fans and turning up to games and the press a lot as well. I think Man City are desperate for that notoriety and big club status, which I think they will get to. But I'm wandering into a topic I didn't want to, but I think they will get there. But you can't be a club that's only really just over 10 years old in relation to being a big club and then expect to have big club status. It will take time. But I'd be surprised by Bernardo Silva leaving, but it looks like it might be an option. It'd be a very good signing for Barcelona as well. Anyway, get your comments in below. What do you think about Richarlison? Where do you think he'll end up? Obviously, Calvin Phillips looks like he's going to Man City as well. It'd be interesting to see what they did if Bernardo Silva left. I suppose they've got players coming through. But smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. Get your comments in below. I'll speak to you on the next one.